Hello, welcome to Productions MJC. The other day I was driving home and it had been a blustery day. The clouds were starting to turn into those fair weather clouds where they're not doing anything anymore as far as precipitation, but they are still hanging low. They've got the flat bottom, they got the little cotton ball look to them. I think they call them Matthias clouds or something like that. Well, I noticed that, and as I'm driving along, I'm thinking to myself, I wonder how the flat earthers are going to explain this. Here I was rolling down the road and clouds are out there, little bits here and there of precipitation, but for the most part they were light on the top, dark on the bottom. The sun was up above them and it was shining down through, and there was some precipitation. So what am I wondering how flat earthers are going to explain this? What is different about this compared to a globe Earth and the experiments that we can do to show the difference? There are flat earthers that are ignorant of the truth, and ignorance can be cured by imparting knowledge, and those people wanting to seek knowledge, wanting to find out what's really going on. Unfortunately, there's not many of them that want to do that. They fall more into the category of stupidity, which can't be cured. They have the information sitting right there in front of their face, and they don't want to even have anything to do with it. So these clouds right here are dark. The darkness is because the sun is obviously up here and can't reach the bottom of the clouds. So what am I talking about? As we look at these clouds, the darkness, the way they look, I like these clouds because you can see that the sun is above them, the sun's shining through them, the bottom is dark. That's the way it should be because the sun is above them and shining down through. But there's a problem with this picture right here. What is unusual about this picture? I mean, let's look at some pictures. Let's go through some of these pictures and look at the difference, and let's find out as we look at these pictures what the problem is. The sun is shining up above, down through the cloud, and so it forms a very interesting look to it, like cotton balls. But they're dark cotton balls. If you were in a plane, see, this is very dark. But if you were in a plane, you would actually be flying in sunlight over the top of these clouds. And if anybody has ever ridden in a plane, they've seen that. But these are very dark on the bottom. Very dark clouds. But I love these kind of a cloud because this has a problem. What's the problem? Here's a view from an airplane. This is the view of those same clouds, but from an airplane. Here's what it looks like to be underneath of these clouds. Here's what it looks like to be above the clouds in a plane. Here's a look at what this looks like off in the distance. A plane above it is going to see something different from the people on the ground. People on the ground are going to see this. There's a problem with this. What's the problem? What is the problem? What am I talking about? What's the big problem here? Well, picture this. You're up on top of here. At what distance do you have to be away from this cloud? Look how dark these clouds are. At what distance do you have to be up in a plane? At what distance are you all of a sudden able to see under the cloud? If you're above the cloud, if you're above these clouds, how far away do you have to be before you can see back under the clouds? How far does that plane have to be away from these clouds on a flat Earth to see back under the clouds? Because this is the problem. The sunlight is touching the underneath. It's touching the bottom. But that's impossible on a flat Earth. It's perfectly fine on a curved globe Earth. It's perfectly obtainable on a globe Earth. How far do you have to be to see the bottom side of the clouds? How far do the people away? The people in the plane are 3 miles to 5 miles high. Normally 5 miles high. 35,000 feet, 6 to 7 miles high. How far do they have to be away from the clouds to see back underneath to the bottom of the cloud? I'll give you a hint, it's impossible. Doesn't matter how far you get, you can't see the underside of the cloud. Doesn't matter how far away you go. I took an interesting video where the clouds were about 3 miles high, and I know that because the mountains are about 2 miles high where I was at. They were about 10,000 feet. And the clouds were above them. But when the sun set, the sun illuminated underneath the cloud. It illuminated the bottom of the cloud. Approximately 6 minutes before sundown, the sun is just touching the mountain, and the bottom of the cloud is being illuminated even more. Impossible on a flat Earth. If the sun is 100 times as high in the sky as the cloud, it can never shine on the bottom of the cloud. But on a globe, it's quite possible because the sun goes around the horizon, the edge of the curvature of the Earth, and it does shine on the bottom of the clouds. Clearly, it's on the bottom of that cloud right there. It's shining on the bottom of the cloud. Now, all day long, this cloud has been pitch black because the sun was above it. But now the sun is clearly below the cloud because the sun is rounding the edge of the curvature of the Earth, and the bottom of the cloud is being illuminated, which is impossible, again, on a flat Earth. It could never happen. Despite all of that evidence, a flat earther will make up some silly excuse. The sun is approximately 3 minutes away from being totally behind the mountain range over on the other side. See, there's a mountain over there, and yet the cloud's bottom is illuminated. The bottom of that cloud is approximately 3 miles high, and the sun is illuminating the bottom of a cloud. Okay, we're watching the sun. The sun is practically mostly behind the mountain, and the sun is still illuminating the bottom of the cloud. Now, as we watch the sun basically has nearly set. The time is approximately 40 to 45 minutes after my first video. The bottom of that cloud is clearly illuminated, and it is illuminated behind a sun, by a sun that isn't really on the horizon anymore. It's nearly ready to dip totally behind. I could get more and more of these videos showing the sun illuminating the bottom of a cloud that was pitch black because the sun couldn't shine on the bottom of it because the sun was above it. But now the sun is clearly below the height, not just in appearance, but the sun is physically below the cloud, angling up, shining light on the bottom of a cloud. That is impossible on a flat Earth, because at 3 miles high, they are claiming that the flat Earth sun is somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 times as high than the cloud. It is a virtual impossibility for the sun being 1,000 times higher in the sky at all times. No matter how far away it gets, it's still 1,000 times as high above a flat plane as the clouds are. There's no way it can illuminate the bottom of that cloud. It can't illuminate the underneath. No matter how far you get away, you can't see the bottom of those clouds. You'll always see the top. That's the big problem. The sun, as it sets, is casting its rays on the bottom side of that cloud. There just isn't any way possible that the sun, being that high at sunrise or sunset, can cast light on the bottom side of the cloud. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe. Have a good day. This has been Productions MJC.